Hello you guys, welcome back to another tutorial. This tutorial would not be a tutorial as usual, but of course it is done with makeup. I'm going to be doing a birthday glam tutorial, and this is a client edition. Now, hopping straight into this video, I am, as you can obviously see, I am grooming her brows. She is natural hair, natural brows, and so I just cleaned up her brows a little bit. For her, I just used the shaver, the facial shaver, and then I also used some scissors to also cut any extra hairs that were too long. And I just shaped up her brows. I didn't do too much as far as, you know, taking away from her natural shape or anything. So I'm just using these small scissors to clean up the brows. You guys, this makeup tutorial is going to be so beautiful. And I'm just so glad to be bringing you all a tutorial because it's been a while since I've done a client tutorial. And if you guys haven't checked out a client tutorial, please be sure to check out my previous videos. And you will see I do have about 2 videos, maybe 3, on client. So starting off with the brows, I am using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade, and I've already filled in the first brow, and so I'm not adding too much product on her brows as they are naturally full. So the way I done her brows was I lined the bottom of her brows first. You have to give yourself a line, at least I do. I line the bottom of the brows first. I do the same thing for the top, and then I lightly fill them in using hair-like strokes, and I brush the hairs up towards the front using a lighter hand, but I'm heavier on the tail. When it comes to eyebrows, you definitely want to take your time because you want to make the brows as perfect as possible. At least that's how I do my brows. I always bring the brows further inward towards the nose than backwards because I just want to make sure that the brows are not cut off too short, because sometimes it can make or break the brows. And so as you can see here, I'm just filling in the top of her eyebrows, and I'm just going to be lightly filling them in. So now I'm just going to be adding some concealer, and I'm using some Juvias Place I Am Magic Concealer in the shade number 12 to highlight under her eyebrows and just to clean them up. Now, when you are cleaning up the brows, you really want to take your time again. The key to doing brows is just basically having the time to do your brows. If you don't have the time to do your brows, then they're not going to come out as nice as you would like them to. So I always suggest that you just please take your time. I know my head is in the camera. It's a little bit hard for me to not be able to get in front of the camera when I'm doing brows because as a makeup artist, you have to stand in front of the client to see how the makeup looks face forward. It's not easy for me to do makeup literally from the side. So I'm trying my best to stay out of the camera, but I mean, eventually I'll get out the camera, okay? So for her brows, at the top, I'm also concealing the top as well. I'm going for more of a full glam makeup, and so her brows, her makeup, everything is not going to be dramatic. It's just going to be fully glammed, okay? So here we are, almost finishing up the brows. I'm using a MAC. I think this is the, I forget what brush this is, but I'm using a MAC brush to conceal under her brows. I went back and forth. I wanted to make her brows a little bit small. Even though her brows are thick, I used a concealer to make them a little bit smaller than, you know, her normal brows. I didn't want them to look too big and too blocky, but I wanted them to, you know, fit her face and fit her natural hair. So now I'm going in with a warmer shade. I'm putting the shade, and I'm using it as a transition shade. I believe I went into my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I'm just using 2 colors for her transition shade. This is more of a peachy shade. Actually, I went into the Juvias Place eyeshadow palette, and I'm using that peachy shade as my transition, and I'm just basically blending that in. I'm buffing it in very lightly underneath the brow bone. But in the crease, I'm going a little heavier since I'm only using 2 shadows for her transition and her crease. Here I am taking a more of an orangier shade, and I'm just placing that right in her crease, but I'm just buffing it out, just kind of diffusing it all over her eye space. Now I'm using the MaGrath Lab Celestial Divinity palette, and I lost a clip as the camera kept cutting off on me, guys. But this is the only clip I lost. So basically, I'm just patting that one shade on her eyelid, and I'm just basically just making it. I'm not really trying to make a cut crease. I'm not trying to be really precise with this shade. I'm just patting it on to just so that it can just fill up her eye and just give me a nice shimmery effect. So now I'm going in with my Wet n Wild liquid liner. This is the Mega Lash Wet n Wild liner to line her eyes. I'm not going to do a wing, but I am going to do like a small baby wing, I guess. Not anything too dramatic, as I'm still working on my wings and I'm getting a lot more comfortable with it. So now I'm just wiping off any excess eyeshadow fallout that came on her skin, and I'm using some of that Witch Hazel, the rose one. And now I'm just going in with the moisturizer from Neutrogena, and it's the Hydro Boost Hydrogel moisturizer. And I'm also going in with the e.l.f. Putty Primer. This one is the matte one. I'm just placing this all over her skin using a flat foundation brush, just to make sure that her foundation has something to stick to and have a barrier between her skin and the foundation. Now for her foundation, I am using a MAC foundation. This is the shade NC40. This is NC45 or NC47. I'm using this brush because I want to make sure that she gets the most coverage possible. I know it's looking like I'm putting a lot of foundation on her face, which I'm not. But now I'm just going in with my beauty sponge to blend in that foundation to make sure that her face is fully covered, as this is her birthday makeup. She told me she was going for more of a rose gold pinky. That's what she was wearing, so I wanted to go ahead and stick with that theme. Now her foundation, again, I'm just blending that into her skin, making sure everything is just nice and seamless. So once I blended that on in, I'm going in now with the Juvias Place Eye and Magic Concealer in the shade number 12 again, and I'm just basically going to put that under her eyes, the bridge of her nose, her forehead, and everywhere else I normally would typically highlight because I want to brighten up her skin. I really want to give her face a little bit more light and contrast, so I'm just going to be blending that out with the beauty sponge, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and seamless and full coverage, okay? Because we are going for a full coverage birthday glam on today. You want to make sure that you are blending the concealer up as close under the eyes as possible. You don't want to leave any gaps under the eyes and from the cheeks. And then you also too want to take the butt of your sponge and you want to blend it out because you want everything to be seamless. So now I'm going in with the MAC Smooth Wear Concealer. I think this is the shade NC50 or NW50. I'm not really sure. And I know it looks light, but on her skin tone, it comes up so nice and warm. And I'm just blending it out with a brush to get the fullest coverage possible. Because, like I said, I want to see the contrast, the depth, you know, the light and the darkness of her makeup. So that's why I'm using this technique. And this is my new technique, you guys. And you guys know I really like to use a cream or a liquid when it comes to the contour now, because I just feel like it makes the skin look more smooth and it lasts longer on the skin. So I'm just going to be blending that out like so, and I'm going back in with that beauty sponge to make sure that the concealer and everything is even and that is not taken away from the contour. So now I'm went in with my MAC Studio Fix powder. I think this is in the shade NC40, and I'm using C4 as well, and I'm just blending those two in together, and I'm just placing it up under her eyes just to smooth out everything. Now I also will be going in with the DermaBlend translucent powder in white, and I'm taking that under her eyes as well because I want to make sure that her concealer is set, like set. Because as you guys know, because we wear masks, you want to make sure that the makeup is really set more than normal so that the makeup does not move and you are able to enjoy your, you know, your outing or whatever it is that you're doing without having to worry about, did my makeup come off, you know, or anything like that. So now I'm taking another another MAC Studio Fix powder. This is in the shade NC45. And I'm just basically setting her whole face with this powder just to ensure that she has basically more coverage. So, you know, just to conceal her makeup. You want to make sure that the makeup is concealed. Again, we are wearing masks, so you just want to make sure you're covered as much as possible. So now I'm going in with the Essence. I think this is the Essence Contour Palette in the shade, in the deep. And I think this is deep. I'm pretty sure they have two. And this is my favorite contour palette from the drugstore, because I can use this from the lightest of them all to the warmest of them all. I'm not going to say too dark, but it works for a lot of people. Now I'm contouring her nose with a brush, and I'm not using a deep shade. I'm just using a deep enough. I'm just using a dark enough shade just to get that contrast, that definition on her nose. And so yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, you guys. And I know I feel like I'm talking a whole lot, but I'm just trying to explain to you guys what I'm doing. Now I did use a blush from the Morphe blush palette, and I just used like maybe a pinky blush, and I mixed it with like a mauve blush to really go with her eyes so that the look can be more cohesive. I'm just doing that reverse contour method to bring out her blush and her contour. You know, so just to bring it out and to make her makeup pop a little bit more. And you want to, like I said, you want to brush that powder away as soon as possible, because sometimes it can just stay on the face and you can see the lines. So now I'm just basically using the MAC Black Track for her waterline. I'm using a very small brush for my clients. I do like to use a very soft brush because sometimes they can be sensitive and I don't want them to feel the brush on their waterline. I use my MAC Fix Plus spray to set her makeup, and I'm just adding some lashes. I got these lashes from Amazon, and I'm placing these lashes on her eyes with some tweezers. And yeah. I'm just so happy I'm able to show you guys this tutorial, because I know that on myself, when I do makeup, sometimes I don't show you guys a lot of things. A lot of clips are taken out because it's just so hard sometimes for me to just do it, you know, and have the best angle for you guys. But at least you're able to see this, you know, on my client. Right now I'm adding some highlight. This highlight is from the Sephora highlighting palette. And then I also use a little bit of highlight from my Juvias Place highlighting. It's from my Anastasia Sun Dip palette. And I'm just adding the highlight everywhere. The high points of her cheeks, her nose, her cupid's bow, and just everywhere else. I'm going to spray her face again using the Huda Beauty Resting Boss Face Waterproof Spray. Because once again, I told you guys she is having a little, you know, a little birthday gathering, birthday get together. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of moving around. So, you know, I just want to make sure that her makeup is on. Of course, sometimes when you are putting on your client's lashes, the glue do stick to the bottom. Not that I put on a lot of glue, because I didn't. Sometimes that's just what happens when you do your client's makeup, but she was okay. I did add some beauty marks to her face, though she does have her own natural moles. I just wanted to add a little bit of pop to her makeup, and I'm taking some of those shades that I use at the top of her eyes, and I just put those same shades underneath her lash line, her waterline, to just basically bring out her eyeshadow even more. Now I'm going in with my chestnut lip liner, and then I'm going to go in also too with the NYX Butter Gloss, and I forgot what shade this is in. I'll leave it in the description box so that you guys can see all of the products that I did use for her makeup on today. And for the finishing touches, I will be going in with the lip gloss from my brand, and this one is in the shade Passion, because I just felt like her lips needed a little bit of, you know, a little bit of something, a little bit of gloss, a little bit of pizzazz, you know, and just made it pop even more. Y'all gonna have to forgive me because this is nighttime as I'm doing this voiceover and my voice sounds terrible. But this is the finished look, you guys. I hope you like this video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think about this video. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye.